Okay, awesome. All right, Nino and Kandi, thank you for joining me here today. So for those that are listening in, if you guys could briefly describe your guys' operation, where you guys are from, and a little bit about yourselves.
Okay, my name is Nino and my wife Kandi. We are from Tranquility, California, a little town in the center, which we consider the most normal part of California, the center part, right in the valley where all the agriculture is. We farm, we are traditionally, my family was a row crop business, but we have been converted. We've been planting almonds and pistachios, still have a little team of cotton and tomatoes, and have an ag spraying business, custom application business at the same time.
Awesome. And Kandi, how about you?
My role is jack of all trades, master of none, mom, wife, office support, anything I need to do that I've been doing for the last 21 years, 22 years.
You guys got a couple kids involved in the operation too, correct?
We do, actually. Our daughter's 22. She just graduated from Cal Poly, so she's back in the ag industry working for another operation. Our son is 18. He's looking to go to college this year in the fall. He'll be going to college, so we're looking at that operation.
With aspirations to come back.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So his focus is agriculture also. So that's kind of in their veins, their blood. So they're looking to come back one day.
Awesome. And you guys have, what has it been, 3-4 weeks? You guys have been in Legacy Farmer so far?
3, right?
Yeah.
3 weeks?
No, a month. I just got feeling, Andy.
Yeah, so it's been a month.
Awesome.
But it's a very fast-paced month.
Yes,
so
it has.
We've accomplished that in a month.
So guys, what was really not working for you guys, both in life or business? What was really not working before you guys jumped into Legacy Farmer?
Andy, I don't know if we have enough time to get into that. But my wife and I, start off, I'm third generation farmer. When I graduated school, my family had been through some tough times financially with the farm, so there wasn't really room for me to come back. So I continued to grow my application business, right? And found some ground to lease and started our operation. But seeing my family struggle my whole life and listening to my dad, he was just always like, struggle with, heck, I've had more bad years than good ones, right? And, so, man, it just struggled. 20 years. I've been farming for 20 years, and there was stress all the time. And finally I reached the point that I'm just like financially, and I think I've mentioned it. I loved what I was doing. It was my passion since I was a little kid who could play with tractors on the ground in the dirt, right? I said, I wanted to farm. I did it. I started from nothing. I did it all. I built it up. I obtained every goal that I wanted, but I couldn't figure out why I didn't want to get up in bed at morning time to go do it.
Yeah, you lost your luster.
I lost my lust.
So let's talk about when you guys came in and we first really started to dive into farmer metrics and finally get into the financial back of it and just finally having a place to easily look through the numbers, because as you know, going into renewal season, all of these things, there's so much stress and so many things to get done that it always felt like the farmers feels like we're not getting enough work done on the back end. Would you say that was kind of part of the stress for you, and as many farmers too that are listening in, it's feeling like you have control or feel like you are on top of your numbers?
If the stress drove me to a point that sometimes I didn't want to go look at them.
Yeah.
And financially it was all good. Things were fine. Well, then you get hit one year and you got a bad crop in a bad year, and you're like, okay, it makes you think a little more. But going back and knowing where my leaks are and stopping them and having that knowing at all times, that real time, brings you that confidence and that peace of mind, right? No matter what bad situation comes, the only thing I do know is I have control of my own decision. But I couldn't even make the decision because I wasn't up to date.
Well, and these these decisions aren't small. We're dealing with multi-million dollars. This isn't just a $100 or even a $10,000 decision. These are hundreds of thousands, if not $1 million decisions that we're dealing with. There's a weight that comes with that. Would you agree with that?
Oh, by far. And
Yeah.
Yeah, the blind trust, like your guys' article, the bank.
That one hit home.
You guys saying, you got to know enough to be dangerous. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of truth to that, because when your confidence is there, you rely on a lot of people, and maybe all the right decisions don't get to be the most effective or the most efficient one, and it can affect your business right at each time, each decision.
Yeah, Kandi, I want to ask you: do you think, like on the back end in dealing with the numbers, do you think people understand the weight that farmers and ranchers are put up against when it comes to the stress of the decisions?
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah. No. I mean, there's so much that goes into it, and it's just always felt like an uphill battle, always. And like for me, for instance, I didn't grow up in this industry. I didn't grow up in this lifestyle. I didn't come into this thinking like Nina's been conditioned and programmed to like the struggle story, right? And like just struggle is just a part of it. Well, I didn't think life was supposed to be like that. So I was like, why are we like, it just felt like we were banging our heads constantly.
We were, put it this way.
And we always made progress.
No. We were growing.
We were growing.
We were producing every year.
Yeah.
But it was miserable.
But it felt so hard. Yeah, it just was like, why does it have to
And at
feel
the end of the day, it took me 20 years to finally say, why don't I want to go do it anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, I did, and it's not supposed to be this way. And we were in search I've been in search for a long time for some way to get out of that.
And showing our children that it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to feel like that. It doesn't have to look like that. That we can get through the big picture and feel good about it and make informed decisions, right? And that was the best thing that you and I are learning, that we have the ability to do, is we can make these informed decisions that work best for us as a business operation in all of your entities.
100%. So guys, what has been the biggest change that's happened for you guys since you guys have hopped in here and made the commitment?
Oh, I don't know where to stop. And I mean this genuinely from the bottom of my heart. It's been I've searched for 3 years somewhere to how to learn how to deal with stress, to make my life better, my kids and my wife. And I looked for some place to make my business better as far as financially with my business and books. And then you look at marketing and agronomy, so many things. You guys really had, not here to try to sell it to anybody, but you guys offered the total package. And I searched for 3 years for some, and especially the most unique one is it's geared toward agriculture. Where are you going to find that anywhere? I mean, and the terminology, the group of people that you're part of. Let me put it this way. Do you think I would never go up to the coffee shop and say, hey man, I lost it last year on my tomatoes. I owe it down at the bank. Now, for the Farmer Legacy group on the chat, I feel no problem expressing that, right? So it's
here's
a home.
Here's the shift that happens here. We talk about everything, but we talk about the real shit too, as you guys know. It's not just, it's not just all sunshine and roses here. Like, it's actually what the truth is. And we talk about the stress and the relationships, the arguments that happen, the really difficult conversations with family members, with team members, building that into perspective. But also, as that happens, like, Nino, I want to hear from you, especially how has it shifted though? Like, when we talk about actually walking into the bank and feeling confident in your direction, do you feel like that's given you what you need, like to build and leave this legacy? Like, be confident that I am leaving this, going to leave a business behind. I'm confident in my ability as a businessman. Has that shifted for you?
Oh yes. And I'm just now starting. I'm only 4 weeks in, and by far the confidence. Well, there gets to be a point when you struggle for so long that you start talking yourself out of like, man, I'm really not that I haven't done that well, or I'm not, you know what I mean? You lose focus of what you have done, and you're looking at the negative all the time, and you're not proud of it. So it's just a snowball that just gets you down.
Yeah. Well, are the majority of farmers and ranchers, do you say that they are positive thinkers or negative thinkers?
Oh, no, I grew up in a town of 750, and we still drink coffee at the local. I'm finally at the point that I don't even go every day anymore.
Yeah. Yes.
If we talked about the stuff we talked about on Legacy Farmer, they'd think I was from Mars. You know what I mean?
Because here's the thing is that they're going to get exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Nino's talking about the real shit. Like, they are not okay with themselves yet to talk about, because they haven't even come to truth with it.
So
uncomfortable for them, you know.
If you went in and told all those guys that you were going into the bank to take your power back, and you know, they would laugh. They would laugh
at you. They
talk about
it. Would laugh at you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what you're doing, and you feel good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can open up and say what I want and feel confident in it. I never had that before and don't care. Well, I lived my whole life worrying about what others thought, and now it's
So Kandi, I want to ask you, so this shift that you've seen, and both you guys have shifted, but specifically in Nino's case here, how have you seen him show up differently in the operation, in your guys' relationship, like with your kids? What have you really started to notice?
I think you used to be really quick to react. You used to be much more of a reactionary person, and now you kind of take it in, you process it, you see the good, the options, the possibilities. You're much more speaking in terms of possibilities now that he didn't used to think that we had any other option other than to struggle.
Yeah, exactly. That's the part of farming.
Has really changed and really shifted, and it's taken a weight off of you, and you've really kind of lightened your load.
I see the result in my family, and then so it just made the whole dynamic between all of us better.
A sense of peace, a sense of knowing that we're not tackling this alone. Right. We have a network of people who know how we feel, who have been through this themselves, who are walking the same path.
That's a very important one,
and that is invaluable.
And learning and you know, I'm not really I haven't getting up to speed with being, you know, on social media, and that Farmer Legacy was my first social media platform that I've ever been part of, and to get me to like open up a little bit and get, I mean, hey, that's big, and I can't believe the weight it relieves.
Well, and the like-mindedness too for you. It's learning that
the ideas from everybody.
Yeah, that you're not alone. That we are not. Everybody has felt it in some way or another, and if we can help one another.
Like I said, you go to the coffee shop, no one's going to talk about you. Everybody's life's perfect.
Yeah, making.
You know what I mean? You're the shitty farmer. You're
the only one losing. You know.
And it's. I feel like most people get stuck in that because they are so comfortable in staying the same because it's familiar. However, as you guys know, those kind of people are not in Legacy Farmer. Like, you are all in, right? Everybody that's in here, you're all in, and we're moving forward. And I think you guys have really noticed how when you surround yourself by those kind of people, it's contagious, guys.
And you learn how to stretch beyond your comfort zone, and see that there's a lot of different possibilities that are out there.
And those possibilities, you may be thinking in your mind right now about them. I mean, it could be 8:00 at night, and I could jump on the group chat and throw an idea out, and I'll get a response from somebody. And it's just like, you know, it's this constant, you know, it's a home away from home almost.
Yeah, because. And you think of this when we're on our boardroom calls and we have a couple members that talk about literally walking into the bank and saving 20, 30,000 on interest. What does that do to you guys? Like, man, what are we doing? Right?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But not only from Legacy Farmers' point of view of dealing with the stress does it give you and how to think about things, it taught you the actual fundamental of the banking industry and the hard things of why, you know, and once you become familiar with some of these things,
you're informed.
Yeah, your confidence level goes through the roof.
Yeah, 100%. So we got the training content, we've got the boardroom calls, we got farmer metrics. Out of those things, I want to hear from both of you. What is your guys' favorite thing about Legacy Farmer?
I like the training videos. We watch them together as a family, and we put we put them on our TV and we mirror it to the television. We have everybody come in and sit down.
And my 18-year-old act like he's not listening, but I'll look and somebody will say tractor or something, and his eyes are up.
And we're all taking in nothing, you know, and hopefully they're picking up.
As long as they're the seeds planted for them.
Yeah.
For me,
that's my favorite.
Yeah, my thing is that Hey, like I told you, Andy, it's kind of like crack for me right now. I'm indulging in all of it, man.
Yes.
I want the training videos are excellent when I want to better myself. The group, the boardroom meetings every Monday. Having an agronomy chat with somebody there like Brandon, who is actually familiar and can give advice, and Jonathan Harrelson with the marketing. I mean, I'm getting it from all avenues. I think that's why I'm so pleased with it.
Yeah. And everybody's, you know, it's coming from a place of actually like wanting to hear better or, you know, encourage everybody to, you know, because if there's going to be some days where things are not going well inside the group, or there's family challenges, whatever that is. But think about actually bringing that to a group of people who want to hear that and want you after the call. And members have shared this where, you know, you'll get messages if you're on a hot seat or you're sharing with the group, and maybe it's not a good situation. You're dealing with a family member or going through something, maybe with the bank, whatever that is. And you start getting messages from people who are truly like on your back, who you didn't ask to reach out, but are doing that. You know, I feel like there's this sense of belonging that you finally have received that we're all searching for, you know.
It brings the full circle.
Full circle.
It brings the full circle, because the other point that about legacy that I like, Andy, is that it teaches you the whole cycle of life, of how to give you the quality of life, because you got to have the quality of life first before everything else falls into place. And not only, it's just not a place where they tell you, hey, you got to get your life together before. No.
Yeah.
I mean, there's hours and hours of training and investment. It's what you want to take from it.
Right. And support like a Farm Lives. I really enjoyed Farm Lives. That was a good one for me. Although our life looks a little different because our children are older and I've already been through a lot of those stages, but I can identify with them and,
and how valuable is it for you to be able to share, you know, some of the things that you've been through there as well, and to know their pain, know their struggle, but just to hold space for them. Like, it's kind of, is that fulfilling too?
I love that. That's the part I really about, kind of coming full circle. And like, I'm explaining to them, like, when you get to this side of it, you know, there's a whole different level of freedom that you know, there's the possibilities are endless, you know what I mean? Within your marriage.
It's I see a lot of members that are me 20 years ago, and it's just like, man, enjoy it. You just take these tools and enjoy the next 20, the journey, man. Use these tools and you're going to enjoy building your legacy.
Yeah. It's a lot of people want to make it more complicated, but we really do dumb it down to where it's going through these stages of, if you can get this part of it, you know, and see it for what it is, but to understand that you could walk in here and have a $20 million operation, right? You could have all the tractors, all the land, but if we really were to break things down and look at things piece by piece, there's a good chance there's a part of you that you haven't come to terms with yet, that you've been avoiding, which is why you can't get out of bed, which is why your relationships are not on point, which is why you're eating junk, you're drinking. I didn't share this with you guys yet, but one of the new members we brought in, he shared with me, he's been sober for 8 months, but he would have to drink a 30-pack every single day to deal with the stress.
No,
like, it's real, guy. Like, it's real.
Well, it's conditioning, like I've learned from you guys. I think I look back, my family, that's how both sides of my family dealt with that. You know what I mean? They did. Heck, I did it too for a while. Yeah. You know, young, and then it's like, there's got to be a better way. And
you start to see how it's affecting your relationships, how it's affecting your kids, and you get to that point where you're like, I just can't take this anymore. You know? No,
well, you look at it, and like we talked before, Andy, I think there's a 97% of the population who thinks that way. And then we start on our own journey and we feel odd. We feel isolated. But this group.
Growth it feels scary. And sometimes you think it's supposed to be a linear thing, and it can be really messy and really.
And this group keeps you together. It keeps you on that path. And like I said, not just in one part, but all aspects. The chats, social networking, the business, farmer metrics, everything.
keep it all on point, because again, if we're off in one area, we've got to regroup, we got to revisit, we got to, have a conversation. Or maybe a lot of them, most members that come in and we dive them into farmer metrics right away, and they're like, and I'll ask them, where are you at in bookkeeping? And they're like, they look at me and they're like, what bookkeeping, And so for them, a lot of them is just figuring out, how do I even start? Like, where do I even start? And so you guys are a perfect example of literally walking through this process, taking everything in, but also taking it and running it, learning it, and seeing that, okay, let's work on part of the business here. Let's focus on this for a little bit. But we've also got part of an area in being or in our body that we need to work on, and it's truly is a balancing act. But covering it all is, we're trying to equip you guys for long-term success.
And you guys are set up that way. I'm not blowing smoke. I'm not. Like my wife said, I looked for 3 years for something, and never did I ever dream I'd find something that was aggravating.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, whoa. And
it can be intimidating because there's a lot of working parts to this.
The biggest
model,
thing,
as long as you're not afraid and you're not, you're willing to just look at it and just face it and just be like real and just say, all right.
There's no judgment from the group,
nor
from the staff. You guys, Andy, I've never, and I'm big on service. I don't mind anything as long as service and support. I mean, that's where you learn and you grow. And I've had nothing but great. You guys have always been there with it. I mean, I don't think I've waited more than 20 minutes for a response on anything. So, I mean, that's unreal.
That right there, guys, just even, because I know what it's like when I reach out to my accountant, whoever, man, or banker, sometimes it takes 2 to 3 days, if not weeks. It's like, I will not put up with that. We will not put up with that here.
Yes.
Yeah. So just that alone. So last thing I want to ask you guys. So somebody who has been listening to Legacy Farmer, they've listened to the podcast, been following with us and with you guys, what you guys have been doing. If somebody is sitting on the fence and haven't quite made the plunge to say, okay, I need to do this for me and my legacy, what would you tell somebody who is in that position?
You start. Take the plunge.
Yeah, you weren't on the fence.
No, you can't say that. There's always a sense of hesitation in the beginning. Right. You're going somewhere unfamiliar.
You can't let fear.
And I just knew something had to change. I knew. And the more I indulge and I get into it, the better it gets. Right. You guys, I wouldn't look back. I'm only a month in, and I'm already planning on I'll renew next year. It's the best investment in my business that I probably could have ever done. But not only my business, I'm talking my marriage, my family, and not even that, just improving the quality of my own life. Yeah. And that is, how do you put a price on that?
Your perspective, yeah.
Absolutely. So.
Yeah. And you think about the hesitation, what has to change for a person to get over that hesitation? You know what I mean?
Fear.
It's that the courage. You said have some courage just to trust it and
to trust the process and allow it to unfold and allow it to just really succeed for you, because this model will
all aspects
bring
of your
you
life
forward like nobody's business in an instant.
I don't know if I shared it with you, Andy, but I told my wife, I said, whatever child comes back to the farm after college, I says, I don't care if they've been to college and they have a master's or a PhD, they're taking the Farmer Legacy course. Mm-hmm. And and as they age, they'll understand why. Don't be scared. Just do it. Just do it.
The longer you sit, the longer you wait, the longer
the longer maybe you postpone your happiness.
Exactly.
And
it's in that moment, and you guys, there's a shift. There's literally a shift after you guys say yes, just because you've made a decision. But majority of people cannot get through that. They cannot work through that. Right. And then we've had members that come 6 months, a year, and they finally say, okay, well, like it's time. But think of what could have happened in that 6 months, that year.
Andy,
the relief and the commitment itself.
I'll divulge I'm 45. Mm-hmm. I should have did this 20 years ago if I had it at my disposal. And I looked at it that way. And if you want to look at it from a life, I would have had 20 more years of a quality life. If you want to look at it from business and finance, I don't even want to start to begin how much more money I might have had right now. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. It comes for a reason at the right time.
That's 100%. And I keep telling you guys too, what you guys are going to be able to leaving your kids now. Guys are going to be talking about you for the next 100 years. It's going to keep getting passed down because you guys are the ones that made the shift and the change.
Yeah, that's very true, Andy. Very true. I'm telling you, once you get involved in it, we got involved. It opened up all facets of our life.
Yeah. Awesome, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, I appreciate it taking the time here today to share your story. Guys, it's truly a powerful one, and I think a lot of people are going to value from it. And I can't wait to see where you guys are going to be a year from now, because what has shifted in a month, we're talking like 100, almost like 100x here in a year after we get into farmer metrics and where we're going from here. So appreciate you guys taking the time today.
Thank you, Andy. Have a great day.